Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
And let me start saying that that's nice to see some familiar faces there. So sorry for the small delay in the start. We will still wait a couple of minutes. We have one of the speakers that are experiencing some technical problem in joining us. I'm Francesco Lembo from Messier Plus, and I'm proud to introduce and open this webinar, which is coming out of the dialogue that three different projects started on, say, similar challenges and similar topics, and trying to open and foster the debate on key challenges ahead and potential cooperation paths to other practitioners, colleagues, and projects we worked on or we met in the last years. So thank you all for joining. I will just mute myself up for another minute and a half, and then we will start anyway. Okay, I think we can start anyway. We will reshuffle a bit the order of speakers in the agenda, and we will come up with a flexible way of having a dialogue with all participants later on. So I would just start with a short introduction. So I'm Francesco Lembo from ACR Plus, Association of Cities and Regions for Sustainable Resource Management. I'm happy to introduce and open the webinar because maybe I'm representing here the organization that came up at the later stage to reasoning on skills and circular economy, even if we started far ahead with some cooperation project, as our core of activities is working with our international network of members, which are cities and regions working on waste reduction, sustainable resource management, and circular economy, and that came up realizing that skills and training policies are an integral part of this transition and can't be left aside. A quick word on how we are here. We are here out of the dialogue of three different projects that cooperated on through different activities. We will then have them told by the speakers afterwards, but somehow we identified how these three projects are within their project plan, their work plan, facing three different angles, but on a similar challenge. We have a mastery project, which is focused on design, deliver, and recognize green micro-credential across 5 different countries, and looking how this tool can, this methodology can really help green and circular transition in different sectors and in different countries. We have BuildSkills Academy, a center of vocational excellence that really work on embedding green skills into curricula, somehow institutionally, but build.
You're muted, Francesco.
And then we have a green circle, which is the third project, which goes deep in one sector, which is construction. I hope I wasn't muted all the time. but I'll move on from the three projects we are here. So we are starting to, with this webinar, start out of the cooperation among three projects. The first one is Mastery, which is focusing on methodology linked with micro-credential and how they can ease up and facilitate mismatch about market labor shortages, vet provision, and innovation in vocational training. Then it's doing this on the 5 different countries and looking at which are the key challenges and how to step up with those methodologies. We have BuildSkills Academy, which is a center of vocational excellence. So it with a very solid sustainability plan and trying to embed green skills into different construction sector curricula. And we have Green Circle, which is the other project, which is also going deep in construction and developing and testing green micro-credential, testing a model that should be then applied to other different sectors. The agenda, as said, we will reshuffle this a bit, but it's starting with a presentation from the three projects. Another step from Sistemi Formativi Confindustria, which is coordinator of the Mastery project, that will present a bit the key structure and points on the memorandum of understanding we want to propose for the three project for cooperation paths, even going after project life cycle. Just three quick points to open the scene and to set the ground for the discussion. One point we all agree, we all can agree, is that we are not missing a policy architecture, and we already have a very solid policy architecture from the European qualification framework up to the the coming skills portability initiative. We have a very solid, tested, and promoted by the Commission and already kind of known system of methodologies and tools. And what I would like to stress, that's nice to have projects joining forces, because Erasmus projects are where these tools, methodologies, and policies are being really stress tested on the ground with learners, employers, and trying to understand how to fit with the vocational ecosystem. Two other points to open the discussion. They are coming from the consultation that Mastery project led for the Skills Portability Initiative open consultation that closed a couple of months ago. Just some data to highlight. It was a small sample of practitioners, but a very qualified group. So we think it's worth to present it also because it shares and it helps address potentially some future action. One first point is that talking about key challenges or key elements, key priorities for step forward, very few practitioners are interested or focusing or prioritizing specific technologies, technical tools, AI assistant talent matching. The key answer, the strongest answer, is coming on improving equivalence framework to work on structural recognition, mutual trust, rather than technology. Another key point is really stressing somehow the first one, and it's really how the key barrier, which is seen still rather on fine-tuning technical aspects or technologies of behind the micro-credentials and digital wallet, it is about trust. So employer trust is really the dominant obstacle, and the problem is in recognition. Of course, there's still some perplexity about the fragmentation of micro-credential. They are sitting outside the national frameworks. They are sitting somehow outside key vocational training ecosystems. They are gaining some traction, but still they are not a tool which is highly and deeply integrated and embedded in educational system. Another key point is that we see how the link with green and circular economy related skills is very solid. So we have really sustainable manufacturing and digital green transition. They are the two bigger areas where practitioners in the vocational training ecosystem told us they see a very big lack, a very big gap from what's coming out of training provision and what is demanded by the market. Our consultation ended up with some points on recommendation. Going very quickly through them, it is really about focusing on validating work-based skills and building mutual trust through regional ecosystem pilot and letting industry and vocational educational training key stakeholders talk together to strengthen existing channel dialogue channels and to make them work even better on a trust basis. Another key recommendation we came up is really on finding faster tracks to update, especially the ESCO profiles and competencies related to circular and green job profiles. This is something we are trying to do through another Erasmus Plus COVE, which is recently started, but this is another key demand from the practitioners we met, that ESCO framework is very doesn't keep the pace when we have sectors with so fast and so quick technology innovation or new market and emerging market demand. Another key point is trying to contain somehow the development of new parallel systems for digital credential. We already have some recommendation and we have to really try to make them work. And this connect to the last key point of the recommendation document we produced, which is about connecting what's already there. So we really have to work, and this is also the key message to open this webinar today, leaving the floor to other speakers, is really capitalize, recognize, and scale up what's already been developed, this treasure of solution methodologies, networks at regional, national, and EU level that are starting from Pact for Skills, the COVE networks, Skills Alliance, the forward-looking project, but also all the other Erasmus Plus project. And the key question that I would like to leave and for discussion during and after the speaker presentation is really on how do we make that connection a structural feature for EU policies and working so that the projects we work on are not just producing one-off results, but they can be really sustained and upscaled over time. The speakers we invited and that participated from the different projects are Anna Diaz from Tecminio, Ivana Russiello from Sistemi Formativi Confindustria, Mariana Kova from Cleantech Bulgaria, and Anna Moreno from IBMI. When I started looking at my presentation, I saw that Ivana Russiello and Mariana Kova were there. I don't know if in the meantime, Anna Diaz and Anna Moreno, they joined us.
No, Anna Diaz still has a problem with the connection.
Okay. Anna Moreno.
But Anna Moreno is here with us.
Good. So I think we can start with Ivana.
Thank you, Francesco. And can you hear me? Everything is good with my microphone? Okay, so I try to share my slides. Okay, and here we are. So this is maybe starting from the beginning is always a good idea. So thank you, Francesco. Can you see my slide?
Yes, perfectly.
Great.
And we can hear you well.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. And my name is Ivana Russiello from Sistemi Formativi Confindustria, and I'm presenting a mastery on behalf of, for sure, Sistemi Formativi Confindustria, but also from the mastery consortium, which is composed, as you can see from this slide, from the Sant'Anna University of Pisa, the Cleantech Bulgaria, together with the CRIB, the Association of Companies in Bulgaria, CETEM and Amoevo, respectively, the Center of Research for the food and furniture sector and the association representing companies in the food and furniture sector in Spain, the Fiebre Institute again, sorry Pekka for having this pronunciation of your name, and the ACR Plus for sure. Over the next 15 minutes, if I can, I want to do two things. First, place micro-credentials firmly within the trajectory of European policy. And I thank Francesco. He anticipated something about this arc of policies during last years from European institutions. And second, so the first is focus on micro-credentials as a structural response to a competitive challenge. And the second point is show you what mastery has built since now to make the policy ambition concrete, and later on introducing the memorandum of understanding, what we would like to do with you all, inviting for a call to actions and to boost these the potential of micro-credentials in the VET system. Let me start with a couple of questions. Let me see if this works. No? Okay, don't worry. Yeah, great. So the first questions we try to answer designing the mastery project is what does it mean for Europe to stay competitive in general, and more specifically in a circular economy context. And the second question was, why do micro-credentials matter behind education? And I asked the artificial intelligence to represent a little bit the difference. They are not. It was not so smart in differentiating the two images, no, from traditional learning and micro-credentials. But in any case, it's just a picture to remind us how the traditional learning can be governed by long programs, require years of study and training, and sometimes need a long period to adapt the competencies, the knowledge to the practical applications. So in this time, maybe the individual can fall behind the market change, and she can miss the opportunities. That's why we think that the micro-credentials has designed under the mastery project can give an answer, the kind of answer to this need of Europe to fast learning. But it's not just to fast learning to be ready to react. It's just because Europe faces a really I would say the word, but in any case, just focus on Europe's faces structural challenge because of the crisis caused by shortage of raw materials, and new technologies are driving Europe towards a momentous shift in the world of manufacturing, employment, and we would like to say also from consumption partners. But what we can observe, this transition is destroying and creating jobs simultaneously, and the training infrastructure that we know, the traditional one, is sometimes it's look too light, too slow to bridge the gap to traditional degree pathways. So again, what it means for Europe to stay competitive, at least partially, it means that workers gaining new skills faster than market change. And that is exactly the approach mastery set out to tackle. So in our project, micro-credentials are designed to support individuals in facing the new challenge the labor market is facing. Francesco already anticipated these, but just to have a common framework on how the European Commission has been investing political capital in micro-credentials with a strong acceleration in the since 2020. So observing these this arc of policies, sorry. it appears evident that this is not just an education reform. The European Commission just want to innovate education to be more smart and more attractive, but we need really this innovation to answer to a competitiveness strategy in Europe. So the last actions, the Union, one of the last actions, the Union of Skills launched in 24-25, positions and enhance the skills portability as a central to Europe's industrial model, to attract global talent, retaining young Europeans, and assuring that a construction worker upskilled in Bulgaria, for example, is recognized when working in Italy. This is also something very important. In Italy, we are working with micro-credentials to support actions included in the Piano Mattei, so training people from countries different from the European network, and anticipate their strategic skills to keep short the time of adaptations of including them in the European labor market. And this is something that is working quite well. We still need the policy framework, the policy, exactly the regulation system to be finalized in Italy. But in any case, these, at least for the mastery project, we are in the forward-looking projects. So in the let me say in the field of piloting, of a stressing concept, stressing framework, to observe what can work, what doesn't work, it will not work in any case. So we therefore consider how to move from traditional certification models toward more flexible, innovative, and experimental approaches centered on real-world challenges. And this is what mastery does. Mastery has the ambition to here translate the green transition, the occupation, into measurable competency profiles. Then we enabling green skills. It means that we identifies a set of enabling green skills across 5 industrial sectors. Then we designed the micro-credentials pathways aligned with the ESCO and with the different European frameworks, also under a technological point of view. How deliver micro-credentials is also something that affected the mastery actions. And then we have a very practical field test solutions. So we are going to implement 13 pilot sites to stress again. I use a lot of this word because sometimes the terms is really to stress, to stretch, to have a different, to put micro-credentials and mastery methodologies in a lot of critical conditions to see and to observe how to support the crisis, how to overcome the difficulties in this. And at the very last square in this graphic, but is something that has been transversal in all mastery actions, in all mastery phases, is the multi-stakeholder convalidation. I know that the 3 projects have for sure this topic in common, the multi-stakeholder convalidation when thinking and when operating in the that ecosystem is something that is essential, and we cannot avoid to have this debate, this confrontation with our stakeholders. So today, mastery outputs are relevant, we would say at least, and we would like to be relevant at least on these 2 main purpose: to have a new lens on competitiveness. So the mastery micro-credentials reframe skills not only as training outcomes, but as strategic assets for European industry. And the second purpose is to enhance the talent attractions and retentions. So we strongly believe that the short targeted pathways of mastery can accelerate the labor market entry, or at least keeping talent in Europe and lowering barriers for mobile workers. We strongly believe in these two purposes. We must to believe in it. Otherwise, the micro-credentials risk to be a very beautiful, challenging and interesting exercise, but we as a partnership and as actor in the VET system in Europe want to believe in this vision of the micro-credentials. Let me say again, our starting point was relatively simple but difficult. We started asking which competencies actually make a worker green in an industrial context. And we want to observe these green skills not in theory, but in practice. So, for example, on the shop floor of a furniture manufacturer, or in a daily work of a construction supervisor managing waste streams. This is what we observed during the first phase, supported by the University of Sant'Anna as a methodological approach in fine-tuning this green transition. Then we identified 12 green skills, enabling green skills that cut across sectors and can be thought, assessed, and certified in this kind of short, targeted training, what we can say episodes, let me say. And that is the foundation of everything else. So starting from these, because if we cannot define the competency precisely, so then you cannot design a credible micro-credentials around it. So again, the very basic concept of a micro-credential is a focus on what is a definition of competency. And so let me go. Okay. So let me say just two things about the mastery methodology. What we can think about two pillars. The tailored occupations is a concept that reminds us something about the CEDEFOP or something like this that we applied with more or less conviction in our mastery definition of 12 skills, enabling green skills, and the vision for recommendation. These are the two pillars of our mastery methodologies. Under the tailored occupations, we can say that maybe some of you are aware of this CEDEFOP framework, analyzing these two axes of green skills. And the CEDEFOP coined these terms of tailored occupations to say that jobs that don't become green jobs, but need to absorb green skills to remain relevant, can be considered as the engineer, the engineer of the green transitions, like the thyroid in our body is the engineering machine, the core machine of our body. So, for example, very simple, think of a construction worker who now needs to understand the embodied carbon in building materials, or something like the machine operator managing waste streams according to circular economy principles. These workers are not training for new careers. Maybe they're not they are updating their profiles, but maybe they are not changing their career. But in any case, they are updating very seriously the existing ones, okay? And they are crucially these kind of professionals are crucially the least served by traditional training path, by traditional, so for example, university programs. They can't arrive to have these they might not be available for attending university programs, so they are more or less including in some continuing vet, in some continuing training experience, and we strongly believe that this kind of a CVET field of actions should really update their programs, update their way to deliver certification thanks to the micro-credentials, the digital micro-credentials. And so Mastery also see in a very specific way this target of population very the most of our project of our pilot sites, of our 13 pilot sites targeted on these kind of profiles, so workers, so persons who are already in the labor market. These are generally how the learning and the 12 green skills of Mastery looks like in our platform. But again, Mastery is not, the focus of Mastery is not to create training materials, but it's to define a methodology to create and to have a cooperate, multi-stakeholder cooperation, defining the methodology to assure the quality and to implement this kind of certification in the more conventional training system. This is also some technical characteristics which are not of secondary importance, we think, and also the recommendation, the European recommendations say that some certificates, some specific characteristics are compulsory for assuring the quality standard of micro-credentials. So we know that at the moment there's an explosion of opportunity of platforms. We find that this MICO platform quite interesting because of flexibility in having the checklist for control, for assuring the assessment levers, but also the interoperability. So MICO assuring us to have very good cooperation, very good permeability with the ESCO, with the EQF, and with different technical platform from European point of view. The second pillar of our methodology is about our 8 vision for policy recommendations, starting from the 10 points that the European recommendations exactly recommend to have to implement when thinking about an European approach for developing the micro-credentials. We just observed that these 10 points can be grouped in 8 vision for policy recommendations. And I want to flag something really important about these visions, that again, and we will come back on this concept a lot of times, they can, none of these vision can be owned by any single type of actor. So that is deliberate. We have to move as an ecosystem. We have to act as an ecosystem to support this kind of framework for policy recommendations. What we have done is grouped these 8 vision in 3 very huge, very important, very strong cluster. The first cluster is about the quality design, and this groups the vision from 1 to 4, and requires both policymakers setting standards and education providers innovating delivery. The second group, the ones dedicated to build trust in micro-credentials, again, groups of Division 5 and 6, and require industry leaders championing micro-credentials to their workforce, and intermediate organizations like Chamber of Commerce supporting the credibility of these actions also in different contexts of the lifelong learning. And the third group is facilitate adoption of for micro-credentials, adoptions at scale, and this requires national qualification bodies, social partners, and European institutions working in concert. So this is the fundamental shift that micro-credentials demand of us. So they are not a product of any institutions that one institution can launch. They are referenced to an ecosystem that again require multi-stakeholders co-design, and that is what Mastery has been building. Thanks also the policy recommendation work package. We dedicated a specific work package to policy recommendation, and we are now starting this phase. So this is also a call to actions. You are all invited to our workshops, which can be national but also a transnational workshop to discuss and to finalize these how to synthesize, how to create a synthesis in a few very necessary actions to do and to share with the policy communication. And we are now at the very last slide, I think, last two slides. Who needs to act? Who are these multi-stakeholders? So for sure, we in Mastery represented and we touched these kind of four main target group. The policymakers need to create the regulatory conditions for portability of micro-credentials. So without common standards, micro-credential risk becoming what we can observe in some contexts, like a zoo of incompatible certificates that no employer trusts. The vet providers need to make quality the non-negotiable starting point. In these webinar, I know that if you are here to hear about these projects, you are already engaged in a quality path for your institutions, and these should be the must for every vet providers. And the industry needs to close the loop because they define the competency needs and they must be willing to recognize what they asked for. We have seen companies in our pilot sectors do exactly this, participating in the definition of the contents, and at the same time, the results in terms of workforce engagement are really relevant. And the final, last but not least, the intermediate organization, like the chambers, industry associations, the employment agency. I would like to remind that in the Mastery partnership, we have three important representation association representing companies in Bulgaria, Italy, and Spain, and these really allow us and enhance also our vision on how to bridge intermediate organization into these apparently distant activities of vet innovation. And now the question is, how do we design this? This is a question also for the sustainability of the Mastery results, but also for the European Commission's. How do we design incentive structures that is not only money, but is really strategies, policies at national and European level how to design these incentive structures that bring all four of these groups to the same table systematically and not sporadically, not fragmented in different projects. And this is an open question. And just to explain why I put this kind of circle, I'm not crazy, but just to say that these colored areas are intended to convey how each country mastery has adapted the methodology to a context of a genuine interest. So in some cases, like in Italy, shown in green, if I will remember, we had a more strong participation of the industry, business employers, and also a huge cooperation with vet providers and training institutions. While, for example, in Finland, we had this cooperation with vet providers and training institutions together with the Fieri Institute and the different intermediate organizations. The Bulgaria is in pink and something like this, the Spain in yellow, but just to remind the very basic concept that is mastery is mainstreaming, maybe can be a framework for methodology, but then for sure mastery as a different project. Each project should really draft a framework that must be adapted to different national and different sectorial auto conditions. This is really the last one. Francesco, at the beginning, started saying that, or at least I interpreted it like this, that the project initiatives are not to be standalone, no? So the product, and in some case, it works to take a piece of a project and bring to another project. And that's also what we would like to do in our next project, in our Reserva Center of Vocational Excellence, based on the circular economy business acceleration. This is a cover led by Sistemi Formativi Confindustria, but as you can see, thanks also to a very strong cooperation with different actors. And so this cover is just starting out, but we invite you all to be our associated partners and to again have another field of actions to stress, to implement, and also to come back to the debate on micro-credentials, how to use micro-credential for green skills, serving the smart specialization strategies for regions. And that's all. I really thank you, and we will wait for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ivana. We are a bit late, so we will probably leave some discussion at the end of unless there's something in the chat, but I can't see any at the moment. So I think that Anadias is now with us, and
yes.
So I thank you. I think you can take directly the floor and try to share the screen with your presentation.
Yeah. Please, I will ask Gail to do that.
Yes.
I'm not
yes.
able to share. So
It will be Noria has your presentation. And
okay.
yes, Noria, we see it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ana from Tech Minho in the north of Portugal. We are leading a project called Micro-Credentials in the construction sector, so very well connected with Ivana and our all meeting today. So I will present this project on behalf of our partnership of 11 partners. So next slide, please. So this is a project that is an Erasmus forward-looking project, exactly like the Ivana one. So we were grasping innovation within the use of micro-credential, in our case, in the construction sector. So in this case, can you, next slide, please? So we have the main objective, it's much more related with the development and test and assess micro-credentials and the use on the construction sector specifically. So it's sectoral based, even though we aimed to verify how can we make this, put this in practice. So identify the micro-credentials, develop, test, and assess. Next slide, please. So the partners, just to begin with, because this was the base for the whole project concept, we have gathered 11 partners from each country: Portugal, Spain, Greece, and Germany. So in this in this case, we have composed a partnership made of partners that are university partners, vet organizations, and industrial partners, and also research partners on education and training. So we have vet, just to focus, vet enterprises and universities. Next slide, please. So in each country, we were able to test different ways of thinking about micro-credentials. In the first place, we start from the same policy that Ivana mentioned before. So the council decision, where there is a definition for micro-credentials and the units of micro-credentials, then the key concepts and the purpose of for the construction sector. So all this is embedded in the sector needs in green skills. Next slide, please. So we were making agile consultation every 6 months with stakeholders, besides our partnership that is already a big partnership, and we were able to being defining. For one side, we were researching the field. From university side, we found that in universities there is more application of micro-credentials due to law or due to implementation in different countries. And in vet organizations, the application of micro-credential was much smaller. There was none, more or less none in each in the countries that we were working with. With the consultation, we could understand the importance of the definition of an ecosystem, a kind of integrated vision of how micro-credentials can work within the broader systems, education and training system. So we were and we are worried about how can we prepare this micro-credential strategy to define the taxonomy and how to quality assure these micro-credentials within the sector in this case. Next slide, please. So we were defining, let's say, this open ecosystem where all the stakeholders are involved. Let's say the learners from one side, the educators and trainers, the courses as units and credentials, and the industry. So we try to put in this ecosystem all the main aspects, let's say, of how can all these work together. So in a way where green skills and the qualification framework and the quality are in the center of it, as you can see in the schema. So of course, for trainers and trainees, the delivery mode, the pedagogy, and the green skills are at the core of the ecosystem. Besides the credentials, we are still piloting courses, and the credentials need to have a way to be recognized from one side and quality assured and issued. So in a European system that we can be able to visualize. So next slide, please. So this ecosystem led to this this way of building blocks, a way where we can put in almost, at least in our minds, in the project mind, the main issues for the micro-credential itself. So the importance of, for instance, the portability, the achievements of the learner, the accreditation, and the relation with the EQF and with the all, also ESCO and pathways, but the relation with the system, let's say. They are not micro-credential that are individual outside the system. They are integrated in the system. So all these things are important for the micro-credential to be integrated in pathways, in EQF levels, and within the system, not to be outside the system. So next slide, please. So we needed a unified taxonomy where all these values could be integrated. So from one side, addressing the learners and the stakeholders' needs, then the integration connecting with the existing quality frameworks, and recognized these quality frameworks that are recognized within the system, and with a credit validation that should be also recognized, and then have this top level creating a unified classification system. So the thing is how to integrate this micro-credential within the system, basically. Going from the grasp, that is the needs, the needs from the industry. In the case of the construction sector, we have needs that are running all the time, because companies are having needs in Europe, needs of staff and needs of requalifying staff very quickly and moving all around Europe. So micro-credential can be a very good reply for this. Next slide, please, Nuria. So we define this taxonomy based on the six key dimensions. So having in mind all these topics that are the ones that are also in our credential systems, and not only. So EQF base levels, the credit equivalents, if we are speaking with ECTS, is because we had the universities and all. So we don't have the ECVET anymore, but we have implementations, at least in different countries, of different credit system for VET. And we try to make this credit equivalent. The outcome types, so if we are speaking about cognitive, technical, transversal, green transition related competencies, then the learning volume, of course, it is very important, standardized workloads, measuring across the different delivery contexts, and assessment, and of course, as I spoke before, the pathways, the way each micro-credential relates to the others and relates with the system. Next slide, please. So the taxonomy basically defines this this way of regulating, let's say, these different elements, and trying to compare, let's say, the levels, the number of hours, the type of pathway, and at the same time, this is a flexible and not rigid taxonomy that you can apply either way in the different bodies that recognize training. So next slide, please. So this is the base for this, and then we needed to put all this in practice to try to understand how can we quality assure these micro credentials, and we need to have technologies that allow us to support all these steps. So building the templates and online builder of credentials, issuing, storing the credentials, sharing the credential, and verifying. So within this step, we need to have all this support from technology to transferability and interoperability, governance, and develop the courses that lead and that prove the concept of the use of micro-credential technologies. Next slide, please. So the quality assurance, we use the European available technologies.
Sorry, Anna, if you manage to wrap up in a couple of minutes, that would be great. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just finishing anyway. So so we tested with Europass the idea of publishing the courses, and in Germany it was easy. A training organization could, BauABC could make this project of registration via Europass. Not the same case in Portugal, Spain, or Greece. We don't have this possibility, let's say. But of course, our aim was not to publish the courses, but instead of this, to make the credentials available. Next slide, please. So to make this, we use the EDC issuer of credentials. So we are using this issuer to make the stamps, let's say, a green skilled stamp on a pilot course that we are implementing. And we are exactly in this phase. Next slide, please. In the phase of piloting the courses. So we will prepare a guide on this, and I think I can finish now. In fact, all the ecosystem, I think it's very well aligned with the policy recommendations that Ivana presented before, and the projects are very well aligned. I think we have much in common, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. I would have a couple of questions, but maybe we can leave them after the next speaker, unless there's someone in chat or from participants, but I don't see them. Feel free to raise your hand, of course. So I think that now the connection would be very smooth because we are now moving to Maria Nagova. Hello, Maria. Thanks for joining. We started with in a broader with a broader approach on micro-credential. We moved to the building sector, and now we have one of the best cases that can help us understand how micro-credential topic can be tested, be effective in the building sector.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much, Francesco, for inviting us to join, and also for the great organizations. It is always a real pleasure to speak after all those wonderful examples, and really to share insights on what we are doing. Let me just share my screen now. so I can briefly present where we are and what we are doing in. Do you see my screen?
Yes, now it's on
And
Teams.
you see the presentation or not?
No, now we see your Teams window.
This is strange. Okay, let me try again. Do you see now?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. And sorry, I hope that it is also in full screen, or it will be. It's now, I hope.
It is.
So indeed, it is a real pleasure to present what we are doing in the BuildSkills Academy Center of Vocational Excellence, because we all know that the Commission launched the initiatives of the Center of Vocational Excellence in order to really create skills ecosystems that are working with all the necessary partners in it, uniting the VET Center, the core education within the universities, but also the real industry needs. And I'm really proud that I have the honor to be the project leader of such initiatives, uniting 17 partners from 10 different European countries. And we're really happy that we have 6 full ecosystems, both providing educational and also industrial partner. In this regard, we really have the opportunity to find the possibilities, but also identify the gaps into the European scene regarding the VET strategy and how to embed skills development and new training courses and materials, taking into consideration all the differentialities between the countries. So we have 6 full ecosystems. The one is in Bulgaria, and we're also the coordinator of the initiative. We have a full ecosystem in Italy, and I'm really happy that we have Sistemi Formativi Confindustria as our key partner that support us into better understand all the VET related problems, but also opportunities. We have also full ecosystem in Greece, in Cyprus, in Lithuania, and also outside of European Union, the Bosnia and Herzegovina. And indeed, we believe that uniting all those partners really help us to understand where are the possibilities. As you see outside of the triangle, these are all the stakeholder partners and key supporters of what we are doing, including very important organizations such as ANCE, FIEC, and many, many more. I don't want to miss anyone, because we also onboarded the governmental bodies. What is the strongest part of what we are doing? And I will then briefly present it where we are. But I believe that the strongest part of what we are doing is the huge number of verification loops, because outside of this very strong and diverse consortium, we also have different levels of external validations, as we have thematic group members uniting professionals from different different occupations working in the field of skills or in the field of construction. As stepping on our name, we are working in one of the most important sectors for the European economy, the missing skills in the construction sector. And above all of this, we have our external quality assessment panel, which are 14 well-known European experts that are helping us in guiding the right path to where we are. And I believe that this really helps us to be absolutely sure that what we are doing is aligned with the European vision, but also all the key strategic initiatives in the field. So very briefly, what we are doing in BuildSkills, stepping on a created list of skills and competencies for the different occupations and EQF level, which we created based on the taxonomy for green and digital skills of ESCO, and we also updated it with the latest amendments in the ESCO, so it's absolutely up to date. We created a quality assurance process on how to enrich VET courses developed on the EcoVet framework, and we aim to update and adapt the vet services offered to the emerging new needs of green and digital skills. But we are really happy that what we created is really beyond only green and digital skills, because we created a very useful and really interesting build and rich skills methodology that also has a digital platform in it, and thus each and every vet provider can upload syllabi of their course or a program, and this platform via self-assessment, but then based on all that we have gathered as information and knowledge, create a personalized report on how this course could be enriched with the missing green and digital skills in the construction. And we see huge potential to further explore and enlarge the methodology and the platform in integrating the new urgent but also emerging skills that will come in the following years. In order to test the methodology and all that we have done, we are currently finalizing our piloting phase. So we have enriched 6 existing courses, one in each of the partnering countries, and each country has one new course created based on the methodology. In this regard, we really have a validated 12 courses with real trainers and real certifications, aiming to create a pan-European certification framework that is an umbrella certification for recognizing and validating learners' transitional skills and competencies. And of course, all our certification is based on the relevant ISO certification 17024, which provides us the opportunity to be beyond national, as the national legislation is quite different, but also even beyond EU, because we could definitely provide courses and opportunities for countries outside of the European Union. And even now, we see this as a huge potential. The colleagues has already mentioned, and Ivana has especially focused on the real needs and how we need to reskill definitely a huge amount of the workforce, but also to find new ways how to attract talents and how to find people in the different domains, and creating this pan-European certification framework. We believe that this is a right step towards this direction. And of course, the concepts of the micro-credentials is absolutely logically embedded in all of our efforts, as it is the way how to find a fast track on certification and recognition of skills. Very briefly, I've mentioned that the Build and Reach Skills has 3 steps: a self-assessment one, and it creates based on this a custom generated report, and it gives you an opportunity for enrichment, which is based on good practices, innovative training and methods, identified good examples and best practices. So we really believe that it is valuable, and all the feedback we've received so far, it's quite positive. Here you can see a link and also a QR code on how to, sorry for this, and how to see the digital platform. Right now, we're in a phase of finding followers and organizations that are willing to really test what we have done and support us. So if you are interested, please don't hesitate to contact me or any of the BuildSkills project team in order to support you in the way how to further test and use what we have created. the certification scheme that I've mentioned. Of course, we have a certification for curricula and for training materials, and this is already tested and validated for the 12 courses developed. Then we have the certification schemes for individuals, which provide them the opportunity to have a certificate based on the ISO certification, and it is for all the trainees that have successfully completed the pilot courses. And stepping on all this, our great ambition, and hopefully this will be part of our sustainability strategy, to create this set of rules and guidelines on how to create certification schemes for individuals in various professions. I start with the fact how important and impactful is the construction sector, but indeed our ambition is to enlarge what we have done in BuildSkills, to try and test it in different skills, different domains, different occupations and EQF levels. Very briefly, here you can see the portfolio of our certified courses. If any of you is interested, again, it is a real opportunity to use any of those courses, to see it, to participate in some of them that are still under the piloting phase. So very briefly, the courses are divided into 5 topical thematical areas, which are circular waste management, environmental health and safety, new building materials, design and engineering, and energy efficiency. As you can see, the courses are from different EQF levels, starting from 3 up to 7. And it was really very, very interesting, but also quite demanding, because we have courses that are 30 hours, but also courses at EQF level 7 that are 900 hours. So it was really inspiring, but also quite a tricky moment to find a way how to unify all these quite diverse topics, but also courses and requirements and national legislations. Here I've mentioned, but briefly you can see all the exploitation opportunities to test and validate our project results in different environments, to adopt and exploit part of our results or all of the results that are absolutely available to this, to receive regular exchange of information and data sharing with us, because we really believe that what we have done in BuildSkills Academy is valuable and it's open to everyone. We are creating the so-called BSA ecosystem. So beyond the project partners, beyond the association organizations, we are open to all the proven and well-known organizations in their countries that are willing to cooperate with us and to further continue our path toward finding the real solution on the differences in the different national systems. So of course we provide regular exchange of information, peer learning and co-organization of courses, participation of events. A little bit later I will share information about the forthcoming 3 super inspiring master classes, and of course common promotion of activities. We really believe that this is the way to create valuable results and services that will be beyond the project and which impact will multiply, unite all the events and further strengthen all the efforts we have done under different initiatives. So here is the QR code for how to join the community. Of course, I believe that it is clear what are the benefits of having access to such a well-established community, but also quite an inspiring partners that you can exchange with. Of course, make your organization and logo visible on our BuildSkills website, receive early updates on project outcomes, tools and trainings, get invitations to open discussions, workshops and networking opportunity. And of course, together we can demonstrate how dedicated we are on all on development of innovative skills and sustainability in construction. Very briefly, I will share information. I know that Francesco mentioned several times that we're running out of time, so I will try to be as brief as possible. But I really would like to share with you the three, I always call them cherries on top of our cake, but indeed, these are the three master classes that will take place this year. The first one, it will be organized together with FIEC, and the topic is the Pact for Skills and what new skills will drive the twin transition. Here you can see the QR and the code for registration of the online participation, as because of the great interest we will have online access, and you can follow up those 2 days of quite intensive discussion on strategic vision for construction transformation. Sorry. Tools and initiatives supporting the skills gaps, how to modernize VET in response to the rapidly changing skills and competences, the role of apprenticeship, upskilling and reskilling, and how the skills validation opportunities should be used by all of the organization interest. So we're happy that in this regard we will have a huge amount of well-known and really proven experts, starting from our nice guests from FIEC, but also nice host, sorry, from FIEC, but also guests from the European Commission, from CEDEFOP, from ETF, and many, many more. So register and you will find more in the agenda. The second master class will be organized in Berlin, but also will have the opportunity to join online. You can register via the QR code that is here on the slide. And this master class is on the topic how sustainable construction will impact the sector in the future. And it is really very much dedicated on climate policy and future of the building sector, digitalization as an enabler of sustainable construction, how sustainability policies influence occupations, training standards and curricula, and how we what is the dedicated and specific steps on VET systems to evolve and support the sustainable construction. This masterclass will take place on 17th and 18th of September. If any of you is interested in joining in person, please, in the last slide, you will see my contact details. Please drop me an email and we will discuss. If there is an opportunity, I would gladly accommodate it. And last but not least, the third master class that is on the topic of how to stimulate the interest of young people for taking career in construction will take place in Bologna, in Italy, on 8th and 9th of October during the SAIA Bologna, very big event. We're really happy that our great partners from Sistemi Formativi Confindustria are organizing together with Formedil this masterclass that is focusing on technology as an enabler and how digitalization, automatization, and innovation make construction sector more attractive, and how we could support connecting young people's values to the green and sustainable construction. Of course, we will focus on diversity and inclusion, quality training pathways, and practical strategies from different successful European initiatives. I'm really hopeful that you are all inspired, but the very brief presentation I've made of those three master classes, but I'm sure that those three events are really shaping and will help shaping the future of skills. So without any hesitations, register now. And once again, if you're interested in joining in person, please drop me an email and I will try to help you with this regard. So here you can see our web website, the link and our Facebook profile, which is BuildSkills Academy. You can find us on LinkedIn. And as I've mentioned, here is my email, and I would happily share all information and discuss participation of any of you in different events and opportunities. So I will stop sharing my screen now. And I would really like to thank you for the great opportunity to exchange with all of you.
Thank you very much, Maria. I mean, I already knew something about the BuildSkills Academy. The program of the master class is, of course, very tempting. I know that some of us were from the other projects that it will be available to attend. So the open invitation is really for all participants, as well as just to mention that with the speakers agreement, we will share with all participants the presentation shared today. No worries about that. We are a bit late, but if you all agree, I would move to the last speaker, and then we see if endurance is enough for a last round of questions for speakers. Let's leave it open for the moment. So, Anna Moreno, I hope you can hear us.
Yes, I do.
If you want, you can share your screen, or I have your presentation in PDF. I can share it through mine, as you prefer.
Okay, let's try if I can share, because I have the Mac and not all the time it works. So let's see. Okay. Does it show my screen?
No, for the moment, but I can share from mine, and you can ask me where to move from a slide to another.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Here we are.
Okay. I thank you for this invitation. It was very interesting, and the majority of the things that we have said, they all fit with this European initiative that I'm sure you know, the Build Up Skills initiative, and for the realization of the national roadmaps. Next slide. Okay, this initiative was launched in 2011, so it's quite a long time that it's in place. And I have participated to many projects, but what I'm going to speak today is about the national roadmap. I hope you are aware of the fact that Europe has asked to each country to have a roadmap for the double transition. The first roadmap was in 2011. The second roadmap was launched 2 years ago. And I manage both the first and the second national roadmap. And now there is a call open for people, for countries that do not have yet updated the roadmap. Next slide. So the first one, well, the objective, we agree. I think we can, I try to be faster because everything was already said. So I'll go to the next one. Again, this is what all you have already said. What are the targets? So everybody agrees. Next one. I will try to stop in a specific activity that I have not seen mentioned during your speech. So the previous roadmap was mainly for the new profiles for the energy saving and energy renewable energy plans, while the new roadmap focus on the digital and green transition. So again, this is what has already been said, especially adding also young people and women. And I saw that you already mentioned also this target. Next. Okay. What in our roadmap we divided in 5 main area of intervention. So again, this is the Italian roadmap, and we divided into skills for green transition, so decarbonization of building and training on low emission materials, technique and system, integrated renewable energy, so skills for installation and management of a renewable energy system, and systematic sustainability. So it means a holistic approach to design and renovation, holistic approach that can be attained only if digitalization is used through all the life cycle of a building. So now digitalization is mainly focused on the design phase, sometimes on the construction phase, and very rarely on the management of and optimization of the building use. Next. The second area of intervention is skill development. You all have said more than I could say, just to point out on the fact that there are very few new professional profiles, but there are more new competencies for existing profiles. And also the problem of European certification, so something that should be harmonized among all the member states to facilitate the mobility, but not only. I always used to say that more than 95% of the legislation comes from European level. So we should try to harmonize everything at European level, and not having each one his own system and then trying to harmonize. Next area of intervention, next slide, is skill dissemination. So what I want to point out on this is the awareness raising. I have pointed to the fact that there will be a workshop in Bologna for attract young people and women in this sector. And again, I think that digitalization is the key, because the existing workflow does not really is digitalized, but young people are, and women could do this, could enter into the building market with the help of digitalization, and so to overcome some kind of mental barrier that in practical they do not exist, but it is needed to change the mindset of everyone to do it. Next slide. Again, these are numbers that we already know, so good, next one. Okay, what I believe that we could do all together is what's called the fishbone approach. So all these initiatives should be collected in order to reach the main goal, which is a workforce capable of transforming the built environment into a carbon neutral asset. So personally, I have been in several European projects, and I also am partners in other European projects. What is missing is the strategy to put together all this experience, to let them to become the normal way of to find workers, to provide competences to workers. There are very, very good examples, but they remain examples and they are not within the strategy of our countries. Next slide. Okay, I'm sorry. I think something is missing, but I can speak about that. One of because we had the 5 actions, and I see only 3. But the main action that I would point out is that we need to increase the competencies also on the demand side. So because if nobody is asking for these new competencies, workers that are already very busy, workers and professionals that are very few, they are overcome with the everyday work, will never join some training unless there are some pilot action. So in order to improve, to increase the competences of the demand, it's not only awareness, but especially for public body, it should be some training also for the technical officers of the municipalities. And the main problem in Europe, but in Italy in particular, is that the majority of a municipality, in Italy we say about 70% of municipalities, do not have an office, a structured office for managing the permission of for building. So it means that sometimes there is some old person, maybe 60 years old, that works for 2 or 3 municipalities, and he doesn't have any time or interest to learn digitalization. So one of our proposals was to ask, so it should be a European and a national action, to promote the coordination among more technical office of municipalities. So I am not speaking about aggregating municipalities, but their technical office. Because if we ask the aggregate municipalities, there are always political burden because there are different parties, because they change every 4 years, so it will be impossible. But the technical office would be much simpler, not because it's still complicated, but at least would be feasible. And the same is for small companies, because we know that more than 90% are micro enterprises. So we ask for an action to promote aggregation of professional through the use of a common data environment, so that the expert of different fields like environment, carbon neutrality, structural engineering, energy efficiency could discuss and find the best solution if they are hundreds of kilometers away. Last but not least, for my side, is the most important thing is that the public tender should be not anymore on the best value for money, but best social impact for project. When I said best impact is about more workers, more specialized workers, better health, better environment. Because right now, again, especially this small technical office, what they see is, if they receive many proposals, let's see what costs less. But if we want a better built environment, we should find what is the best solution, what brings to the country in terms of new technologies, better impact, lower. So it's really sustainable development, and I think we are still very far away from that. So if you agree on this, maybe we could little by little do join our effort and make a strong request to the Commission or to our ministries to move in this direction. So best quality and not best impact and not anymore best technical economic. If you leave last slide with my contact, you can contact me directly or even better through Confindustria. Yeah, these are. And the last thing is that I am also managing an association of all what are called BSI chapters, so Build Smart chapters in Europe. Because again, we believe that digitalization and especially open BIM should be at the European level, not only at the national level. And BIM is very well known, but very few know about open BIM, which means BIM which is not depending on specific software authoring system. And this is really important, not only for public administration that could never ask for some specific software product, but also for small and medium enterprises that cannot afford different softwares because they are supplying a bigger company using just one specific software. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I hope that I stay into time and
yes, not only in time, but your presentation left me with mixed feelings because you started with valorizing existing pilots, experience, resources, and tools that should be capitalized, and you moved on with key challenges that are so big that they look almost they look very tricky and hard to tackle. From public administration, organizational settings, and how to push them to evolve and innovate, to circular public procurement, on which this is the other piece of materials we will share from ACR Plus side. We already have a joint position on the Circular Economy Act with a strong chapter on circular procurement that highly resonates with Anna's message, and we will be happy to share to see if there could represent also a complement to build a common base. But just to, we are just a bit late. We will try to close with and as much as positive message. So coming back to the root, to the beginning of this webinar, we presented similar challenges and similar perspective tackled by the different by the projects and the initiative present here. We said that we would try to push for open or push further. We're already open for concrete cooperation paths and opportunities that would lead to some measurable, seeable, or grounded results. from the four speakers or from any of the participants who are still active listening at this moment, a slogan, a proposal, any idea would be a very nice message to close. I don't know if someone wants to jump in. Anna, I think. I don't know if Anna unmuted. Thank you, Carlos. Ivana, Anna Maria, any final comment? Please free to jump in. Or
okay, maybe I can say a phrase that I like very much by Einstein. That it says everything looks impossible till someone that doesn't know it does it. So let's. I know that it's quite impossible to believe that public administration will change, but we need to believe it, and especially to believe in young people that could be employed in this new aggregation of technical offices, and so all the knowledge that you are sharing now could be really capitalized and useful for the territory.
Thank you, Anna. If I just can say a word, this webinar is also starting and has been organized. Thanks also to this cooperation among different stakeholders, the different projects. And Anna Moreno with IBIMI is one of our stakeholders in the workshop we had. This means that we invite you all to sign and to participate in the Memorandum of Understanding under these umbrella of three projects: the Mastery, the Green Circle, and the BuildSkills Academy project, because these are for sure initiatives that have to end more or less sometimes and to produce some specific output. But we have started cooperating also thanks to the vibrant and positive input from Anna and from other stakeholders. So think about the next, so think about how to capitalize this information. So the invitation is to create some network, some consistent, and not only the sign of a piece of paper, but just challenging us and give us more opportunities to move forward in this innovation. Anna, I invite you since now, and it's a public invitation to be one of our speakers during Bologna SciE Fair in October, and so we will invite you all in our next meetings and next initiatives. Francesco, I think that we can also send the invitation to sign and to keep in contact with us if there's any interested to sign the memorandum of understanding, with giving them more details on what it means. And okay.
Yes, of course, we will share with participants. We didn't have time to go through that today in detail, but we will share that together with other materials. And I'm sorry, but I see one hand raised from participants. I can't see the moment of giving the floor to a participant. Joao, are you still with us and ready to? Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to put one question. We always see Europe in front of these subjects, but there is being connections and platforms with other locations, for example, to the United States, entities, companies, or because we know that, and we see over and over, Europe pushing hard to this to achieve a kind of quality parameters that sometimes in the world that we see that will be perfect, we are pushing in that way. But I think in other countries we don't see that balance of that goals, and sometimes this in a way pushes into the front, into the lead. But as Anna was saying and was asking, in this world that we live, that people sometimes only think in the economic in the economic values, this will push us back into that competitivity that we see a lot of things coming to Europe, and because of this, because of the prices, and Maria, you are without sound. I don't know if you were saying something or not. And I wanted to know this if there is some platforms that you are creating with other countries, with other continents, with the United States, because we see there is being, I think, in my opinion, a backward relating to these subjects right now from the United States. That was our equilibrium platform between us and the United States in the world, and I wanted to hear your opinion and to know what you have to say about that. Thank you.
Francesco, if you don't mind, I can really briefly step in here.
Please, João.
Because indeed, thank you very much, João, for the question. It is right. Really the elephant in the room, because of course sometimes Europe is quite close for working mainly for the European and EU initiatives, but in BuildSkills what we are doing is really beyond Europe, and I was honored to participate in several economic forums of the United Nations that were held in New York. I was participating online, but nevertheless, it was part of the biggest event on where we are in terms of skills in worldwide vision. So yes, we're aiming to work outside of Europe. We all know that the huge amount of human resources are currently in Africa, and the European Commission is doing a lot in this regard. There are several initiatives with the countries of origin. So definitely what we are doing will be further explored and would only be stronger if we are open enough to what we are doing. I also had the pleasure to participate in Africa Skills, and it is indeed that in order to create talents, we need to, and to obtain them, we need to provide, Ivana mentioned the word incentives, and this is the key for how to really inspire but also retain people. So absolutely the cooperation outside of EU it's not the only option. It's a must to further grow, and any ideas that you have, I would gladly discuss them with you and find a way how to realize. So I'll stop here because I see a lot of people with raised hands.
Please, you can see the order, so you can take the floor, Anna.
Yes, maybe we can take Emmanuel first.
Hello, good morning. I'm Emmanuel Gomes. I'm from the Labor Authority in Braga, which some of the partners from this project are. And we are at this time in my organization dealing with safety implications, health and safety implications from the energy, digital and green transition. And especially in the construction sector, as you know, one of the sectors with the highest rates of injuries and health problems at the moment here in our country. And I would be glad if you could share a contact, maybe from Anna, that if we could have a talk later, one of these days, about how can we try to connect our agendas and try to use these micro-credentials, which I think it's a very interesting way of raising competencies of workers in all areas. And I have seen from of the partners here, some of them are developing the concept of health and safety also, related with the green transition. So I think you have my contact, but I don't have yours. But if you can send me an email or something, we can go further on later. Thank you.
Okay.
Just to confirm, Emmanuel, yes, I think we will have a structured web page on Mastery website with not only materials, but key contacts of speakers that want to be contacted, and next activities from project that might be of interest for all of you. Sorry, Anna.
Yes, Emmanuel, I will contact you anyway. So I think it's one of the aims, and I would like to stress the importance of this cooperation between these projects and beyond. The aim is to network. So this is a way of sustainability of our projects and for the future of these different views and perspectives. So in concerns micro-credentials in one side, but also in a standard way of seeing things. So standard from the point of Europe, using European focus in the first place, but also globally, because, for instance, in the Building Academy, we have the ISO level. So I think we are all aligned on the idea that the sectors are not confined in a geography, but our projects are. So our projects are confined in European geography. So we will start from this point, and I think networking is the word that we should take from this meeting, because the networking is the key for further developing the building sector, but also the vet sector, and the way the vet sector is, let's say, incrementing the career pathways of people, and that is, I think, very important. So, of course, the connection with in the sector with Africa that Maria mentioned, it's very important. We have some of our partners here. Thank you, all the partners that are here from Green Circle. And one of the partners is from Casais, a company that is also working with Africa and having vet schools there. So we have a lot of ways of, let's say, within the project partners that we are, I don't know, maybe more than 30 partners in total, to have real networking possibilities. And we must find a way to make these events more frequent and with topics that are interesting for all of us, that we can build this network. That's what I will say on behalf of our project and on behalf of our memorandum of understanding on micro-credentials and the development of the sector. Okay.
Yes, thanks, Anna, because that's a very concrete and grounded way to interpret the ratio of this memorandum of understanding. And just before closing, I would like to give a special thank to Nuria from Messier Plus for pulling this webinar together and inviting all the speakers and having contacts with them. Hi, Nuria. And thank you everyone for the endurance. We are half an hour late compared to what we planned, but it was a very interesting discussion, and that especially this is something that we are all considering as very potentially fruitful for future activities. Thanks again. We will be in touch, and we will contact you with to share materials and the contacts of and suggestion to keep in touch with direct action. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
And bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Emmanuel, I'll contact you.